8:28 on a Thursday here on the Michigan Insider on Sports Talk 1050 WTKA, online at WTKA.com. Sam Webb and Ira Weintraub on the other side of the glass. You know, Ira, we talk about trends and roles, and sometimes teams get on big time roles. I think that pretty much is what you would say about a team that in the last 4 games has outscored its opponents by a score of 42-1. Doesn't that constitute a role?
I say this in jest, but that would be my dad's line would be, you come home with like a 97 on an exam, and he says, "What happened to the other 3?" So you're like, "The 1."
How did they score that one?
How'd they score? We kid because we love.
That's a great question for our next guest, great friend of the show. Her team currently sits 34-6, 12-0 in the Big Ten as they're slated to play number 12 Minnesota coming up. Before we talk about that, we got to reflect upon the week that was with Michigan softball coach Carol Hutchins. Hutch, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, so it is always a festive occasion when you defeat a rival, and here we are, second week in a row, talking about a sweep of a rival and a definitive sweep of a rival. This time, Michigan State. And I just. Coach, game after game, you're getting it done at the plate and on the mound. Let's start off with game number 1, a 9-1 victory over the Spartans.
Well, what I like about this team is I think I don't know how good we are. It's a good question. I think we're going to get a really good look at how good we are this weekend. But I like we just play the game of softball. We don't play the opponent. We don't play the score. And the kids have just shown up every day to, play one inning at a time. And we're playing at our level. Whatever that level is, we've stayed at our level.
Yeah, it's interesting that you note that, because we see teams all the time that play to the level of their opponent. And your team has been amazingly consistent, regardless of the opponent, as you pointed out. I'm curious, is that a coaching point, or is that something innate in your team? That they don't get too high with the highs, and not that you have many lows, but they don't get too low with the lows either.
Well, that is one of the mantras that we often talk about, and as I reminded them after Sunday's game up in East Lansing, and we haven't accomplished anything yet. We haven't accomplished any of our goals, so everything's in front of us, and we just have to stay focused on the moment, because you don't control the past, you don't control the future. You really have to stay on task to whatever we're doing now. That's all we can do.
You're certainly, and you started out at the beginning of the season talking about depth pitching, and you are cultivating that depth more and more. Before we move on to talk about Sarah and Megan and their pitching efforts after Haley's opening game, got to mention that she helped herself out in that opening game with the 2-run double.
Well, Haley has been somebody that we use in the hitting lineup. And I've jokingly said I don't know if she can hit, but her on-base percentage is over 500. She finds ways to get on base. And but she definitely opened up the game for us with a bases clearing double. And she has tremendous power, and she is a good hitter. So we're pretty versatile. And sometimes we go with our pitcher in the hitting lineup, and sometimes we don't. It really is one of the luxuries I have as a coach is we have more than 9, and we have more than 10 kids that can hit and that can play at this level and help us win. Yeah,
no doubt. And everyone's hitting. Everyone's hitting for you right now. You go into game 2, 8-0 win. You got Sarah in the circle, 5-inning shutout. She tosses in that game. And like I said, everyone's hitting, and that was the case again in that game.
Well, and that was an interesting game from both sides. There wasn't one strikeout recorded in that game, not from our side, not from their side. So it was an interesting game. And again, we kind of opened it up, but Sarah's been working hard, and all our pitchers, they work really hard, and it's a competitive position, and they all want to pitch, and they all want to help us win.
And so you mentioned your pitchers working hard. Again, you come back in that last game, 14-0. You get that victory, and Sarah actually gets a pinch hit grand slam for you in that contest.
Well, that was one of those games that we just really couldn't seem to finish it at the time. We got it on a roll in the 7th inning. We had a lot of base hits. I was trying to give everybody some chances. And Sarah, who hasn't had a lot of opportunity to hit this year, I gave her a whack. And she came in and she didn't look good. She swung and missed the first pitch. And to her credit, she totally adjusted on that next pitch and just blew it out of the park. That's credit goes to Sarah.
Right, and again, the roll just doesn't stop because now then you come back in your non-conference matchup with Central Michigan, 11-0. Sarah and Megan Betts a 5-inning shutout they combined for. Romo did her thing again, homer and a triple. Just again another example of everyone really doing their part and playing on your level, not to the level of the opponent.
Well, and that's right.
The level of the opponent.
Well, and that's right. And that's what I like most is we just play the game. We don't play the opponent. It's a great quality any coach would tell you in a team.
All right, so that sets up. We're talking to Michigan softball coach Carol Hutchins. You're looking at the league standings right now, at least as far as the standings are concerned, and you would imagine that their roster and talent bears this out. Second best team in the league that you're about to face right now in Minnesota. They're 10-3 in league play on the year, and now you guys are about to match up. So tell us about what we'll see when the Golden Gophers come to Wilpon Complex this weekend.
Well, honestly, they match up against us as well as anybody we've played. They remind me a lot of us. They're very deep on the mound. In fact, they may be deeper on the mound. And they have two fine pitchers. Sarah Bolton, who's been an integral part of the league for years, and then their new pitcher, whose name is Groenhagen. I've been remiss to say it because I don't think I pronounced it correct. She's on fire, and she's lights out. And we've got great hitters, several great hitters, Tyler Walker, their leadoff shortstop, and of course Richardson, their third baseman. They're all dangerous, very dangerous. So they've had a great season. This is a banner year for them, and I expect them to present some problems for the Maize and Blues.
Coach, you had mentioned that your team to this point hasn't accomplished their goals, and you have obviously a long way to go between now and the end of the season. How important is it to get a step up in the level of competition that you're playing against so that you can kind of re-see maybe where your team stacks up against some of the top 20 teams in the country? Because it's been a few weeks since you've faced a ranked team.
Well, again, I hope we continue to simply play the game and not play the opponent and not get caught up in the score, whether we're ahead or behind. And yeah, it is important. Obviously, one of our goals is a Big Ten championship, and the other goal is to be a top 8 seed. And playing a great team like Minnesota is you got to beat teams like that. Minnesota is a postseason team. They are going to be in the postseason, and they can make a great run. They're a team that we're going to see at the end of the year, top 20 teams. So we need to play, and I think we're very capable. It's just a matter of playing it out on the field, playing good softball.
Thursday, Coach, 8:36 on a Thursday. Many fans will be able to have a great and unbelievable and outstanding softball experience 2 weeks from today. Wow, it's upon us. Looking forward to it, chomping at the bit. The Softball Academy coach. I don't know about you, but around here we're pretty fired up and ready to go.
Well, I woke up this morning and thought, oh my goodness, the Academy is 2 weeks away. 2 weeks away. We have 177 participants signed up at this point, and we've got 8 full teams. And I believe we have somewhere in the vicinity of 27 captains. And so for folks who want to join and don't have a team, you'll be assigned a team. But most importantly for you all, we have 5 teams that are already over the 5,000 mark in fundraising.
That's nice. That's nice. 5,000. Ira, are you intimidated?
Not at all, sir.
I'm not intimidated either.
Because I know you have big plans for today alone.
I see you letting out trade secrets, man. We gotta keep that kind of stuff private. But I understand that's the lack of fear that's coming out of you right now.
Bring it on. As coaches, we don't play the opponent. We just play our game.
That's right, Ira. Just play your game. It doesn't matter what everybody else fundraises. It only matters what you fundraise.
Great stuff. We are looking forward to it. And that's an important note, Coach, that bears repeating as well. You said that if you don't have a team, still sign up because you guys will assign a team, right?
Absolutely. There'll be a place for everybody. We've got plenty of room over at the Wilpon Complex, inside or out. If we get forced inside, like we often do at practice, last week, Thursday, we had to practice indoors to ready for Michigan State. And we've got the facilities, and we intend. The Golden Academy is always to be bigger and better, which means more people. It means more money raised, but most importantly, it means more fun.
Absolutely. msoftballacademy.org. Again, msoftballacademy.org. Well, Coach, keep it up. Keep up the great work on the field. We'll continue to try to do our part getting ready for the Softball Academy. We look forward to talking to you again next week.
Hopefully we'll have some good things to talk about.
All right, Coach. Absolutely we will. Appreciate your time. And next Thursday, same time, Ira will have Coach Hutchins. All right. So I got Craig Ross in the studio right now. He's just sitting in. I'm just throwing this out there, Craig. You look like you still have some athleticism left in the tank. I don't know him at all. I'm just saying, I think you would make a nice addition to our softball academy team. That's how you get people on your team. You put them on the spot, Ira.
That's exactly how you do it.
You give them no preparation. You put them out there, full exposure for everyone to see and hear. Say, hey, come be on our softball team.
All right, I'm in.
There we go.
There you got 178.
There we go. We got another one in there.
And then we're going to do what we did last week because we invited one of our listeners to join us last week. So we'll do that again. If you want to join our softball team, we have a spot open for you. Just let us know. If you're an okay softball player, if you're a fun person to be around, that's important. And then most importantly,
fundraise.
You must be a good fundraiser. If you want to be on our softball team, shoot us an email, studio@wtk.com, or tweet at us at SamWeb77 or at Michigan Insider, and we'll pick one listener between now and the end of the week, so between now and the end of tomorrow, and we will shoot you an email to invite you to our team. You can join our team like Craig just did.
See, because here's the thing, Ira. The real competition, the true competition, is the fundraising competition. Now, look, that doesn't mean that on the field that we're going to take a step back. As we've had this back and forth with Laura Hope for the better part of a year. So her team is going to be ready.
Have you started talking any smack to the wives of the basketball staff?
No, I hadn't.
The Hoopers for Hooters team.
Oh, okay. Really?
That's their team name, Sam.
Okay. But see, they haven't been as forward in their smack talk as Mrs. Hoke has been.
Nobody can be, except for you.
I just respond to the challenge is all. If they want to talk some smack too, I'd be happy to respond to kind. 8:40 on a Thursday. Let's get to a break back on the other side here on the Michigan Insider on Sports Talk 1050 WTK, the official voice of University of Michigan Sports.